time certain. That's not going to keep, most of the time we do that so that you don't have to renotice, but I think you're going to have to renotice this type of hearing.
Well, we'll renotice it. That's
So it doesn't really matter if you just table it to date and time certain or not, it's still going to have to be renoticed.
So we'll take no action tonight, and then we'll get it revoked, and y'all re-notify for the next meeting.
So you don't want to send out the notice for the public hearing on the 13th? I mean, yeah.
Right.
No, you would,
That's what we
but
say, yeah.
it's not necessarily a continuation of this. It's
Right.
just started over. Just to make sure they've got the, yep.
We'll get it back out and get it set for them.
Okay, thank you. All right, item number 13 is conduct a public hearing in order to receive public input on substandard building enforcement action regarding structures located on the property at 1909 Gill Street. This public hearing is open at 7 o'clock. I guess we've got folks to speak on this, so y'all can come up, then we'll let staff weigh in as well.
My name's Bon Bailey. I'm an attorney representing the heirs that own this property.
Okay.
And they're trying to get it sold. We're trying to get the title in shape. There's a couple of people that owned it have passed in the last few years. And up until recently, one of the heirs is living there. And he's currently in an assisted living facility, which is where he needs to be. He was not able to keep the property up. So the others and him are getting together, trying to get it sold. We're currently, there's some people talking about buying it. They're in negotiations with them. But there's a question, we're pending a survey on it. It's a question of how far the property extends down the hill behind it. So we request some time. I think I've looked at the substandard notices of what all is not up to code, and we think it might take a reasonable estimate, given what time of the year it is, and getting people out there to work. We think it might take maybe about 120 to 180 days. I know that's from the previous hearing. That's more time than y'all historically have allotted, but
Yeah, if we don't have that specific plan, state law doesn't allow us to go past the 90. So that's the reason for that.
okay. Well, that's what we requested, we'd be able to do that. I know a lot of the things that were on the exterior or the outside of it have been remediated already from the original inspections.
They've already cleaned up the property on the back and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go ahead and hear from staff then and see the pictures, and then we'll
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
This one was done by Steve as well, I take it, Mark?
Yes, sir. And we also did it by getting a ASW.
Okay. How long has it been since the house was occupied?
I'd say 3 or 4 months, or 2 or 3. It's been right at between 3 and 4.
Okay.
Does anybody in the city have anything to...
That's what I was about to, yeah, Marvin, if you'll give us kind of a rundown for what makes this substandard.
Well, I kind of got ahead of everybody before. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right.
This is on the inside that the water heater is in violation. It needs to also has combustion issues that has to be secured. The hot water heater itself, the TP line, again, needs to go the outside and elbow down. Needs to have the valves on the cold water side, and it needs to be approved. The gas line needs to be approved gas line. And the closet itself is inadequate. It doesn't meet the combustion standards that are required. It was a lot of stuff in there still left. I don't know if there's some yet to be moved out of there or not, but there's quite a bit of debris in there. And electrical hazard cited there. More of the debris issues that we came across. The lighting fixtures need to be brought up to code. And I know, probably doesn't show it, but it needs, the smoke alarms, in each room used for sleeping purposes that weren't, available then. It also had a dryer, closed dryer vent exhaust was, improper. See that picture yet? And some of this is when we made that inspection, it was, originally, it was pretty junked up on the outside, but they did come in and finally did get, most of that removed. So, I don't think that's an issue anymore. The big issue is, the holes in the siding, the interior, violations that I just spoke of, and the accessory building. Something's got to be done with the accessory building that hadn't already.
That has been removed,
Okay.
and the entire exterior of the property has been totally cleaned up, and the
Okay.
fence has been taken down.
Now the fence is taken down, is there any plans to put one back up?
The neighbor to the, I guess that would be the north, he has put up maybe a third of the fence on his own. At this point, I don't know why he stopped at that juncture, because that was probably completed roughly 2 months ago.
Sorry, can you give your name for the city secretary?
Yeah, my name's Thomas Williamson. I've been working with Miss Moss pretty regularly since about June, when she started becoming aware of the property. It was her brother that lived in the property that we had to be put into a assisted care facility. It was because of his just mindset and things that were going on at the property became in that shape. She lives up in Hazel, and she hadn't been around the property in quite some time, and once it became apparent things were going on with the city of River Oaks, was sending notices to Michael at that time, and he was just throwing them in the trash. But once she became aware of everything, I know Michael through my church. I'm a member of Victory Church down here in River Oaks. He was a church member, and I got involved with him trying to help him just navigate some of the appointments that he needed and things. And so I've been on board, and the outside was horrible. I brought in a 20-yard dumpster, and it filled it all the way to the brim and then some. But the outside of the property looks as good as any property on the street as we speak now. At one time, it did not. Now, the inside is still pretty cluttered. It's Mrs. Moss's intention once things really get in order here where she can sell the property. Her and the heirs desperately want to sell the property, but there's some issues going on with the transfer of the property from the estate from her dead parents. So the inside still, there's not been much work done on it. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be thrown out. It's dirty. All the violations he alluded to are pretty much in order. I mean, the water heater's new, the heat and AC unit's a train unit, but it probably wasn't installed properly, obviously. And that's beyond my scope. I don't know exactly what all is required, but there's a lot of violations. But most of them are inside. The outside of the property is kept up. That's 12-inch rain we had back in July or August or September. How that roof did not leak is unknown to me, because if you look at it from the outside, you would think that thing would leak like a sieve, but it's not ever done. It did not leak a bit, not down the chimney, not anywhere. The sheetrock and the ceiling, I couldn't believe it, because I just knew I was going to go in there and it was melted. But anyway.
No, we cited no violations on the roof.
Well, I'll tell you what, I used to, if I was looking at that thing, I'd be going, holy mackerel. But anyway, so that's kind of, I don't know if that brings you up to speed a little bit more, to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. But
Well, it's, are you aware of any delinquent taxes or anything?
yes, there are some delinquent taxes, and those, of course, being taken care of at closing. I don't know how far back they go. I know at one time there was a payment plan in place, and Michael, the one that was living there, unfortunately,
I think citations have been served, have they not?
I'm sorry,
Citations have been served, have they not?
how many?
No, has citations
Oh, yes.
been served, yes.
Yeah, but unbeknownst to me and to our sister, Michael didn't send those to us, and the only reason I found out about one was here about 4 weeks ago, because I go by and check the mail. There was a warrant issued, And I came down here to City Hall to check into it, and it was because Michael had gotten a citation of